This movie is reason 1001 that I will never birth a baby out of my own body. Nope. No, thank you. No. Hey there, creepy peeps. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Vicky, and I talk about horror movies, books, and other spooky stuff 2 times a week here on this channel. So if you end up liking this video, maybe subscribe. So today we're going to be talking about the new movie Baby Ruby. Baby Ruby is the feature debut of playwright Bess Wohl and follows a popular lifestyle blogger, Jo, as she's about to join the ranks of mommy bloggers and welcome her baby Ruby into the world. After a difficult childbirth, Jo starts imagining the worst about her new baby and everyone around her as well. This is a really unsettling and darkly and bleakly, at times comedic view at postpartum depression, which is a thing that is still largely not discussed, even though it's considered one of the most common complications of childbirth. And there are a lot of reviews about this movie out about the themes of postpartum depression, and that's definitely the main focus, the main point of this movie. But as someone who, yes, has a uterus and no, does not want to give birth, I ended up focusing on another aspect of the film, and that is social media. Early on in the movie, Jo admonishes the use of baby books because she believes that motherhood is something that is going to come naturally to her, going to be easy, which, I mean, scroll through most mommy blogs and any one of us might start to believe that motherhood could be easy. So not only is this a story about postpartum depression, but it's the role that society through social media plays in making postpartum depression something that is still undiscussed and keeping that stigma up. Social media makes it easy for anybody to have a perfect life, seemingly, because you can control what you post, how it's framed, the filters, etc., etc. The fact that Jo is a blogger is not a mistake. At the film's open, we see Jo planning her own baby shower, down to the last detail, and decorating her nursery. Everything is perfectly posed and idyllic. And then there is a violent cut into the childbirth scene, shown in all of its body horror glory. Not only that, but I do want to commend the movie really quick for showing some of the not so fun stuff that happens after giving birth also. It's not just like you pop the baby out and your body goes back to the way it was and everything's great again. It's literally an emotionally and physically traumatic thing. But from that point on, the movie changes. Jo starts losing time and energy with Ruby's constant crying, that at this point in the movie, we start to become unsure as to whether Ruby is actually crying all the time or Jo is imagining that Ruby is crying all the time. All the while, she's being plagued with these worst case scenarios of things that could possibly happen to your baby if you're not paying close enough attention. And at first I was a little disappointed because about halfway through the movie, it seems like Jo's blogger career is kind of just forgotten about and never heard from again. At first I thought it was like a continuity error maybe, but now I'm thinking that it was intentional. We see Jo's assistant repeatedly come to her and ask her when she's finally gonna make the post introducing her baby to the world on the internet. But nothing in Jo's life is picture perfect anymore like it was at the beginning of the movie. So how could she? And on top of that, Jo keeps encountering this Stepford-esque gang of mommies who seem like they have everything figured out. In a scene where Jo meets the group of moms officially, one of them mentions trying to make a cheese souffle that Jo had posted about on her blog and that she had such a difficult time with it, and Jo responds that it's easy, truly. All the while she's looking on at these women in dismay because they're all put together, they look well rested, well made up, their babies aren't crying. They're making motherhood look trendy and easy, kind of how Jo was before she gave birth. And it's just adding to the trauma that Jo is experiencing because she's very much feeling like, why can't it be like that for me also? At one point, Jo's mother-in-law tries to come and talk to her about her own experiences with postpartum depression, and Jo can't even hear it at that point because it only confirms Joe's new horrific reality. In the first of, I counted 3 endings to this movie, we see Joe attempting that blog post finally, welcoming baby Ruby into the world on the internet officially, and she can't do it. She ends up deleting it because the idea of pretending everything about motherhood is sunshines and rainbows and it's easy peasy seems really disingenuous. This disconnect in the movie is supported by the cinematography and the setting. Joe and her husband live in a renovated farmhouse that seems perfect, but the slightest change in lighting turns it into an isolated nightmare. One of the more darkly comedic scenes shows Joe with a consultant looking at all the things in Joe's picture perfect social media home that now need to be baby proofed. All of this to say, Baby Ruby is an important horror thriller about postpartum depression and also the pressure that society puts on mothers and birthing people. And Bess Wohl portrayed that disconnect between internet reality and reality in a way that a cis man never could. That movie would have ended with Joe in a straitjacket or the husband having to kill her or something. And while I won't tell you how Baby Ruby actually ends, I'm not gonna spoil that for you, it doesn't end by making Joe out to be this crazed mother that needs to be put down. I'm really glad I ended up watching this one. I'm not usually one to gravitate towards movies about giving birth and pregnancy because quite frankly, it scares the shit out of me. But this was handled really well, and for a scary movie, it had a surprising amount of compassion toward the reality of childbirth and everything that comes after. And I thought this was gonna be just like a straight up horror movie going into it, but I saw quite a few people mention this as a Black comedy actually. And the movie actually made a whole lot more sense when I thought about it through that lens. And I don't know if that was the intent of the filmmakers, but it might be an interesting thing to keep in mind if you end up going to watch this movie after this review. So if you've already seen Baby Ruby, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Become a Creepy Peep today. I post 2 videos every week and I do live streams from time to time. Speaking of, I will have one this Saturday. We're gonna do another murder mystery live stream starting a lot earlier this time though, because took us a little while to solve the murder last time we tried this. So I will see you Friday with a new video and maybe on Saturday to solve a fictional, for legal purposes, murder. Until then, stay strange. Bye.